Welcome to the Fight Night Daily podcast. We are in Sheffield for the Dave Allen, Arslanbek, Makhmudov press conference. I said press conference, it was a bit of a press day. Very, very different the way that we did stuff today, wasn't it? I kind of like that, a little bit of a TV production.
I was going to say a little bit of a TV production, swinging from one way to the next. Dave, I want to get straight into it with you, mate. Makhmudov is a big guy. Now, I read on BoxRec, right, that you're 6'4", 6'3", and he's 6'5". It looked like you was 5'5" and he was 6'5".
Yeah, no. He's a big guy in that, but he doesn't know how childish I am. He's starting to realise how childish I am. With Johnny Fisher, I had Johnny Fisher beat before we got in the ring the second time. I'm working on it with Makhmudov. It's a bit. I'm trying to break him down. I'm trying. He's a nice guy, you know. He's a nice guy, but I'm trying to learn him. I'm not sure how well it's going right now.
Let's talk about that mind games there that you're talking about, like where a lot of people say the fight can be won before the first bell. So that's what you're very good at, like you say, people not being able to read the character of you, but you're up against a guy here who is very difficult to read as well.
I just wanted to come and try and punch my head in. Just trying to irritate him, be very smiley. Just being myself, really, just put extra myself. I wanted to try and take my head off. That's what I want. Sooner he tires out, the better. I can't wait for round 4, 5 to start. The first 2 rounds are going to be horrible, but the more angry I can get, not angry, but the more wound up I can get him, the more he wants to punch that smile off my face, the quicker I can get to work, because when he's throwing punches, I certainly won't be. I'll be fucking ducking and diving and dodging, and I'll get to work when he starts blowing.
Talk to me about mentality, mate, because the comparison in speaking to you now compared to speaking to you 5 years ago seems like chalk and cheese. You talk us through it, your own development mentally, whether the things that have gone on outside of the ring have influenced that, things inside the ring, the confidence that you gain from certain victories. How different are you now from the man that was fighting in 2020, for example?
Just a different person. I've matured a lot. Just as a man, I think you mature in your late 20s. I hate that maturity. I realised I needed to do it, so I've done it. If you'd have said to me you're boxing Makhmudov 5 years ago, I'd have been terrified. I'm not saying I'm excited about doing it, but I won't say I'm terrified. I know how hard it's going to be, but I've trained really hard, and I think when you train hard, I can't stand here now and say I'm going to win this fight. But with the training I've done and the work I've put in, I can stand here and say I'm going to fucking box really well. I am going to box well. He's going to have to box well to beat me. That's the confidence I've never had before. Yeah. The 2 Fisher fights, the first one I weren't confident. The second one I worked. I've trained all right. Know I'm going to beat him. I couldn't say I know I'm going to beat this fellow, but I know he's going to have to be pretty good to beat me. So that's a nice feeling to have, and that's just come from the confidence come from training hard, training properly.
You can leave, obviously, talking about what happens next to us. We'll do that later on, mate, because you're obviously concentrating on Saturday night. What does he do well? What are the main challenges that you're going to be facing Saturday?
He hits really hard. Yeah. He hits really hard and he's very, very strong. I don't worry about hitting hard and strong. I never ever worried about being hit hard or being strong. I've never been knocked over, and that's not about a good chin. I'm tricky. I'm a lot trickier than people think. I'm 6'3". People think I'm a lot smaller than that because I make myself smaller. I'm hard to hit. I might take a few on the nose, on the forehead. You don't hit me on the chin. You're not going to hit me clean around the body. So I don't worry. What he's good at, I don't worry about. What I don't want him to do is box. I know it's a boxing match, but don't box.
But is that not your job, though, to drag him into something that he doesn't want to do?
He'll have to fight after 6 rounds, whether he comes to have a go, whether he boxes anyway. So I've got to get to round 4. I've got to get there unscathed, and I'll win the fight, I think.
Talk to me a little bit about recent video footage that come up of Makhmudov wrestling bears and whatnot. Do you read anything into that?
Absolutely not, no.
He's got a bear to deal with on Saturday night, right?
Yeah, that's about as much use as coming to my house and watching me sit in my boxes play Football Manager. It's got about the same bearing on the fight, but yeah, you know what? He seems like a really nice fella. I've made him smile a few times, and he won't like that. So yeah, I think he's a nice fella. Really, he looks mean and that. We'll see how mean he is Saturday.
Listen, you talking about boxers, mate. We're going to have to go into it. You know where I'm going with this one, don't you? This local social media. Listen, yeah, look great. I mean, talk to us about this this new deal you got with this.
Well, they don't call me Doncaster De La Hoya for nothing. I am this generation's Oscar De La Hoya. I'm the housewife's favourite. Do you know what I mean? It is what it is. I didn't choose his life. It chose me.
The housewife's favourite.
Yeah, I didn't choose his life. It chose me. So I can't help being handsome, can I? Can't help having a great body, can I? So, but no, it went down really well. I showed my artistic flair, bit of acting ability.
You look great, mate.
Yeah.
Well, I'm neck up, waist down. I am your man. Yes.
Listen, just to finish off, to let you get on with the rest of your day, mate. Talk to me about being the headline in Yorkshire. Your people bought tickets. They're coming out for you. This is for you tomorrow night. This is kind of a lifetime's work to this particular point, isn't it?
You know what? I've headlined 3 times. Once in Paris, I got battered. Don't want to talk about it. I headlined Copper Box, beat Fisher. It was all right, good, nice one. I headlined the O2 Arena from a little pit village in Donny. This is great. I can never top that. I can never top that. Look at me. Imagine me 25 years ago. Oh God, I was scruffy as anything. Headline the O2. This is about boxing though. This is about boxing. Headline the O2 was for me. That gave me some real self-worth. This is for boxing. I want to win this one and show everyone what I'm about. This is my world title fight. Never mind Wilder, Joshua, all that stuff. If that happens, great. I want to win this. Everyone here will have to go, good fight, Dave Allen. That's what it's all about.
Dave, you talk about, you know, that being your crowning night at the O2, which was brilliant. We was there, and Lucas Brown, former world heavyweight champion, what a victory that was. But you go, the incentive for you here against Makhmudov, who is a world-class operator, and you come through that one, and the carrot that is dangling there, and names that have been mentioned are Deontay Wilder, you go, well, if you're ever going to top a night like that at the O2 against Lucas Brown, that is it, isn't it? Like, that's the incentive. Like, if you get that fight with Deontay Wilder, wow.
Honestly, I would never top that first night. I remember it'd never be topped. And for me, if you offer me £5 million, yeah, or the respect of everyone in boxing saying that I'm a good fighter, I take the respect of everyone saying I'm a good fighter. That means more to me. Money's great. Like I said earlier, I don't fucking spend any of it. I don't get my hands on it. I don't even know how much money I've got. I think I'm pretty rich at the minute, but I couldn't tell you. I wouldn't know. So it makes no difference, really. My missus is buzzing at the minute, so we must be pretty rich. But I want everyone to say Dave Allen's a good fighter. That is all this is about for me. I chose Makhmudov for that reason. I just want people's respect. I know I'm a good fighter. This is about being a very good fighter. This is all I wanted since being a kid, started boxing. I started from my dad's respect. Now it's about everyone else's, and I want it. That's all that's left for me. I've got an ensuite. I've got the detached house. I can't drive yet, but I want everyone's respect. And Saturday night, I am going to have it with him because I want it.
Go and get that respect, man.
Thank you very much.
Thank you for your time, buddy.
Wicked, mate. Thank you so much.
See you in a bit, mate. Mind that light. Go on your head, pal. I tell you what, he is revved, isn't he?
He's rev, mate. Like, that's what I said. When we're talking about, you know, being unmotivated in the past, you know, we've seen him and just turning up, but having that talent and, you know, being frustrated at looking at him going, you know, I think the career's over, and you go back to David Price 2019 where you go, I think he's missed the boat now. Like, it's gone and the motivation's gone. And to see him revived and regenerated and talking the way that he is revved up. He's a tough guy to beat.
But you know this as much as anybody, and he kind of touched upon it then in the conversation. It comes from doing the work. He's at peace. He's done the work in the gym with Nigel and Jamie. He's put as much graft in as he possibly can. He's at peace with whatever the result's going to be Saturday night. Obviously he wants to win, but he knows that he's not left any stone unturned, as that old cliche is.
And do you know what, Adam, the motivation is going to be enough for him there. That's what I say. Like, you know, he'll go in against Makhmudov as a big underdog, right? Because Makhmudov has operated at a higher level, etc., etc. But he's been found out as well, by the way, a couple of times. Vianello last time out, you know, he looked like he'd run out of ideas, becomes a little bit one-dimensional. There's more to Dave Allen's game than the people recognise. You know, this guy's not just a guy that comes in wading and everything else. He's smart, and he will box cautiously early on, and he will let Makhmudov punch himself out as the rounds go on. It's an interesting fight, this one, because Dave's a better boxer, has better boxing IQ than a lot of people give him credit for.
I like the way he's talking there about knowing full well that there's a storm coming in the first 4 rounds. He's got to ride that out. He's got to be tight with his guard, hasn't he? Sometimes you've got to stand in range. You've got to let him hit you in order to punch that venom out of him. Yeah. And then, as he said, if you get to round 4 and that round 5 starts, I think all of a sudden then we've got a very different situation.
100%, you know, like, you know, we get into that stage of the fight, 5, 6, 7, you go, Dave Allen, that's when he comes into his own, because Nigel Travis and Jamie Moore would have done a great job with him. They're great students of the sport as well. They'll know the game plan. They'll have the game plan worked out perfectly. Dave Allen will box to instructions. And it's going to be an interesting fight, man. When the bell rings, round 4, bing, then, you know, we're on. We're on for a real fight.
Well, it's all well and good us saying that. One, he's got to get there.
Absolutely.
And if we know it, and he's already saying it in the presser, Mr. Makhmudov, he knows that that's coming as well.
Of course.
So that first 4 rounds, he might just turn the heat up even more than he
Yeah.
would have originally planned to do so, because that's his best, I say best window of opportunity. We're talking about a guy that he's had a good extensive amateur career in Arslanbek Makhmudov. He's been in with a higher level calibre opposition than Dave as a pro as well. Yeah, he's fallen short to the likes of Ajit Kabayel, but he has been around the block a little bit. Turning that heat up in those first couple of rounds, I wouldn't say is his best chance, but it's where you would expect him to obviously have the most success in the fight.
Yeah, you look at Makhmudov and his history, and you look at the fights he had with Vinello, like I say, when he got stopped in 8 rounds and he had that grossly swollen eye, but he ran out of ideas there. Vinello was that guy that sort of like, he worked his way around and just kept
He's
out
a
of range.
big lad though, Vianello, compared to Dave.
Well, he is, yeah, that's right. But Dave uses that lack of height to his advantage, like he said in the interview. You know, like, yeah, he's 6'3". We talk about lack of height. He's 6'3", but he goes down. He brings that height down, and he makes his opponent punch down. Makhmudov is that guy that goes in straight lines, comes out in straight lines, carries that left hand quite low. He's there. He sits in the pocket to get hit. That suits Dave Allen. You know, Dave's saying anyone that comes at me is in big trouble. Well, this guy is the ultimate test. You know, this is the same geezer we've seen wrestling bears. He's a big dude. He's a very big dude, and Dave will have that game plan. He'll recognise that Makhmudov would come there, but if Dave can weather them early storms, he wins the fight.
Yeah. Well, we're going to be speaking to Frank Smith very, very shortly. But before we do, seeing as that we've just been teeing up Arslan Makhmudov, a little earlier on, we caught up with him, and this is what it looked like. Firstly, welcome to the UK, Arslanbek. What are the challenges that you see ahead in fighting Dave Allen on Saturday night?
Dave Allen, good challenges, good boxer, good step for me to get the championship title, to get top guys, you know. That's why for me it's good opportunities.
We've been speaking throughout the course of the week from his point of view, obviously fighting you, a big name, and if he can come through that, that would open the door for those big names that you've just been saying, the likes of the Anthony Joshuas, the likes of the Deontay Wilders. Do you see that as the same for you as well, the other way around?
Yeah, 100%. This name, after this win, I think so, coming up, that's why I'm big motivated for win this fight, yes.
How tough has it been for you? Like, you know, you were being really built up, and then we had that fight over in Saudi Arabia. We was actually out, and you boxed Agit Kabayel. You lost that fight. You had to rebuild. You went and lost to Vianello in another fight as well. How difficult has that build been for you, and like the soul searching that you've had to do?
Yes, lose fight it's not easy, but if you do right, if you fix right, all your mistakes, like if you do right analysis, it's help you, to be honest. It's help you to improve yourself, you know. That's why for me this lose was, I think it was good, because make me more work, more big disciplined, and I hope so. It's helped me. Yeah.
On a grander scheme, how exciting is the heavyweight division right now? For a long time we've been, as fans, wanting certain fights to happen. It feels like they're all happening now, with Turki Al-Sheikh being involved in the sport. How exciting is it for you in the division with the prospect of all these massive fights on the horizon?
Yes, it's like I said, it's big opportunity for me to like I said, it's open door for me. This fight open door for me. Win this fight for more big names, and of course, thank you. This Excellency Turki Al-Sheikh, he make a lot of for boxing, or it's a real improve boxing, and thank you for Eddie here and other Tigers, my promoter Kamil Stefan, for organize this event. It's going to be a great fight. Yes, thank you.
How did this fight come about, Arslan? Like, because when we as fans, when this was announced, it was one of those that took us by surprise because of the level that you've been at in the past, and Dave maybe hasn't been there. So How did this fight come about? Was it Eddie Hearn? Did he reach out to you and offer the fight? Was it Turki El Sheikh? How did it come?
I think it's my promoter,
Okay.
Kamil Stefan. He is have a good relationship with everybody. Turki El Sheikh and Eddie Hearn. They make it negotiate for this fight. I don't know this job because my job is to go in the ring and win. But organize stuff, it's not my job.
And I wanted to ask you, on the landscape of the heavyweights right now, we know we got Anthony Joshua and they're in the twilights of their careers. We may see him in the ring again, but Tyson Fury also, we've heard recently from Frank Warren that Tyson Fury may be coming back. A win here sort of puts you back up there, your name back up there. Would them sort of guys have the target on their back, or is it the world title that you're chasing?
I don't understand, bro.
So would you, like you're talking about Tyson Fury and you're talking about Anthony Joshua, them names coming back into boxing because they said they're going to be boxing next year. Would you like to box those sort of guys, or is it the world title fight that you're chasing rather than that?
Yes, honestly, I like a fight with Anthony Joshua because I already spoke with him in Instagram, make a deal to fight next year. I mean, not make a deal. I mean, it's just he give me words, That's why it's very interesting for me because we have a little bit story with him. I mean, in amateur background. In amateur, he lose 2 guys. I beat these 2 guys, It's interesting, and same time we have like same age, same tall, same weight. It's interesting,
So an added incentive for you right here is a victory over Dave Allen could get you to fight with Anthony Joshua.
Yes, exactly. This is my goal, and but now all my thinking and all my focus about David Allen is.
Awesome. Enjoy your week, sir. Thank you very much.
Good luck. Thank you.
Top man. There you have it. That's what Arslanbek Makhmudov thinks that could happen off the back of a victory against Dave Allen. We spoke to Dave Allen a little earlier on. We didn't really go into the ramifications for him. Matchroom Boxing CEO Frank Smith kind of joining us now. This is your job, mate, to obviously point people in the right direction. We'll get to actually what could happen off the back of Saturday night in a minute. But this feels, especially with the supporting cast of Junaid and Bilal and what have you, and obviously Bellotti and Josh Padley, feels like a good one here in Sheffield.
100%. He's got a lovely leather jacket, by the way, Makhmudov. I was thinking that might suit myself. He's a big old lump, isn't he? No, but it feels like a great show. We're going to have over 10,000 people in the arena on Saturday night. People just aren't doing that. And, as you say, not just the main event, but Boston against Fawaz, they've sold it brilliantly, especially Fawaz. He's done a great job. Padley in a great fight against Reece Bellotti as well. Hamza Uddin in his first title fight. It's a big night of boxing, and I'm excited for it.
So come on then, what does this lead to? Because we just heard from Makhmudov there. In his head, he's thinking, if I can beat Dave Allen, obviously on a Matchroom show, I might get an AJ fight. And we've been talking about Dave, the possibility of if he wins here, he could open the door to something like Deontay-Wilder. Is this realistic? Are those realistic opportunities for these 2 fighters should they win on Saturday night?
Yeah, I think from Dave Allen's perspective, he puts himself in a position where he can go in against any of those top 10 guys in the heavyweight division, and also not as an opponent. I said earlier, if you put a lot of those top 10 heavyweights in against Makhmudov, would they sell as many tickets as Dave Allen is on Saturday night? Yeah. I don't think so. Right, so he puts himself in a position not like as could be an A-side fighter in those fights. And he can kind of call the shots going into a load of big fights.
Frank, you've known Dave for a long time now. We've been on that journey. It's been quite a roller coaster, with the mental health that he's had and, the motivation and maybe falling out of love with the sport and goes right back. Where do you see him now? Like when you see him, for me, it's the best I've ever seen him right now, and that makes him a dangerous opponent for anybody out there. But where do you, see him at this stage of his career?
Look, I was talking to him on the stage. I didn't realise he was 33 because he's been around so long as a big character, 9-10 years. You kind of think he's a real grown-up, he's older than me. I feel young, but then I'm talking to him and say, same age as him, and I think now he's in the position where he's applying himself 100%. If you asked me 2 or 3 years ago, I said he should have retired. I said he shouldn't have been involved in some of the fights that were being spoken about for him because he wasn't giving himself to the sport. Now he's giving himself to the sport. And actually, when you look at the age of heavyweights now, he could be in the prime of his career, and this could be the run that he needs. You know, he's been in there with the best, both in the ring, in sparring. He's been in there with everyone, hasn't he? Every big name in the heavyweight division, you know, and that gives him so much experience. And there really is no end as to where Dave Allen can get to in this career. And I'm very happy for him because he's a nice bloke, and he deserves all of this success.
It's obviously a big night for Matchroom, this, because we're not just in Sheffield. You've got one over in Philadelphia as well. We've been talking about who could possibly be the face of Matchroom boxing. I always bring up Bam Rodriguez, and when I look stateside, I obviously bring up Jaron Ennis. How big could this guy be?
Look, when you see what Jaron had done even prior to having that big promotional support, you know, prior to signing with us, it was quite amazing. He had a huge following. He's gone on to sell 10, 10,000 tickets back to back now. People aren't doing that in US boxing, and he's got the talent to back it up. That fight against Stanionis was a spectacular performance. At 154, I believe he can beat everyone. He can become unified undisputed champion. Same at 160. This guy can go all the way to the very top of the sport, you know, and I'm very excited about the future holds. You mentioned Bam as well, spectacular fighter, part of the roster. We're in a great place, and US boxing really is thriving with some big fights and big nights to come.
It's interesting you mentioned US boxing there. I'll bring that up in a minute. But from a Jaron Ennis point of view, is he kind of the victim of being in two divisions, like 147 and now 154, where maybe the superstars' names for him as an opponent aren't necessarily there? How imperative is it, from a fan point of view, as I'm speaking now, that we do see the Virgil Ortiz fight, for example, in 2026?
100%. He's signed up for the Virgil Ortiz fight. He's ready to go. We've agreed the terms with Jaron. You know, Virgil has to come through his fight in November, and Golden Boy have got to agree terms on their side. But the fight's ready to go. You know, Jaron wants the biggest fights in the sport. You know, that's what he wants. He's not afraid of shying away. You know, he wants the biggest test. You know, I don't think he'll get enough credit for the Lima fight because Lima doesn't have the commercial, the name, but Lima's a brilliant fighter, and he's going to give him a hard fight on Saturday night. It's not going to be a walk in the park, but we obviously believe how special and know how special Jaron is. But yeah, we need the right fights, and I think those profiles are going to build through. Those big fights are going to be there for him. You know, let's talk about a Crawford fight in time against Jaron. That's a fight that we see happening.
Frank, we know we've got the big fight, obviously November the 15th as well, with Conor Benn and Chris Eubank Jr. There's talk of Conor Benn maybe going back down to 147 after this one and getting a world title opportunity down there. The first question I want to ask you is, can he still get down to that weight and make that weight? And then at 154, and you're talking about the Jaron Ennis and other big fights that could be made for him there. If he comes through, or even if he doesn't come through, where do you see the future of Conor? Where does that lie, at 147 or 154?
Look, he can be involved in the biggest fights across all those weights. I think when he went into camp, he was 156 pounds. You know, he filmed it. That's, as we know, with a 10-week camp, 9 pounds to get down to 147. And look, he's got a great team around him. He's a true professional. You know what he's like. He trains harder than 99% of the people we see in this sport. So yeah, he can do 147. The Crocker fight is a massive fight for the IBF world title. Obviously, Crocker signed to Matchroom as well. I'm seeing him next week. That's a massive fight. 154 fights are huge. You know, this talk about he hasn't fought at 147. No, he hasn't, because the opportunity that we were always looking for was at 160. You know, it was quite open that the Eubank fight was the fight he was aiming for. But 147's easy for him, and he will go back to 147. He'll fight for a world title at 147. He'll fight for world titles at 154 as well. You know, he is one of the biggest stars in British boxing, and has the potential. He's young still as well, for the next 5-6 years to be involved in the biggest of fights.
There's a new champion at WBA now in Brow at 154. So there's an opportunity there. I just want to, because I know that you want to talk about Ben Whitaker. You talked about British boxing there. We'll get into him in a minute. I just want to quickly touch upon the US market. I personally think that they're very different at the moment. In the UK, I think we're thriving. The US is a bit disengaged. How more difficult are you finding it over there compared to over here when putting shows on and engaging that American audience?
Yeah, look, I think sport is a lot more competitive in the US. There's so much going on across a whole host of sports out there. But I think when you look at what we've been doing recently, like I say, we're going to have 10,000 in Philly this weekend for Boots. We're going to have Diego Pacheco fights at the end of this year as well. Jesse Bam Rodriguez had about 10,000 in the arena earlier part of this year in Dallas. You know, so I think we're in a good place, but it's a competitive market. It's a tough market. It's evolving, it's changing. You know, HBO left, Showtime have now left boxing, ESPN have now left boxing as well. But that's part and parcel of it. The landscape changes, and you have to move with the times. I think for us, where we sit with DAZN as well as our global partner, we're in a great position and excited about what 2026 and beyond can do.
Would you see Zuffa landing in that demographic in that landscape, shall I say?
I think I think they were going to really struggle in boxing. Is my honest opinion. Don't get me wrong; they will create a huge brand. It's what they do. They're tremendous at it. Look what they've done with Power Slap, whether you like it or not.
Yeah.
Look at the brand they've created. But at the same time, when you come from a world in the UFC where they literally tell everyone what to do, they tell everyone you're fighting here, this is what you're doing, these are the gloves you're wearing, these are your sponsors, these are your all of this stuff. It's completely different to boxing, and I think they're going to find it really difficult to come into a sport that has hundreds and hundreds of years of heritage that, you can't just walk in and change. But again, I'm not writing off what they'll do. It's Dana White. He's a tremendous marketer. He's a tremendous promoter, and they've got a huge business. So they can create something, but I don't think it alienates what's going on in the rest of the sport. It's just my opinion.
How do you revive boxing over in the States? Because people talking about boxing being broken. I say, look, I don't think boxing's broken here. Certainly not. If you go into the gyms and you look around the gyms, it's absolutely flooded with kids and flooded with talent. And you're going to get the next champions that are coming through. In America, we don't seem to be having that now. Things have changed massively in America, and you don't know where that next star is going to come from. TKO coming into it may be good for the sport of boxing to get them kids back into the gyms, but why has it died so much over there in recent times, Frank?
No, I think, like you say, when people say boxing's dying everywhere. It's like a constant thing, or boxing's dying. It's like, actually, it's not. Like, I look at this weekend. We got 10,000 people. We had 16,000 people sold tickets in Belfast 3 weekends ago. Boxing isn't dying.
Boxing's the biggest
not for Matchroom. Matchroom are doing really well.
But I think in Britain, boxing's been the biggest it's been ever.
But even then, people still say it's dying. They go, "Oh, you're not doing that," or like this, that, the other. It's like, wait a minute. We sold out this. We've been near sold out this weekend. We've got a show at York Hall next weekend that sold out within a couple of hours. Boxing is flourishing, and the same for us. Again, I'm talking from a Matchroom perspective, obviously. In the US, we're selling tickets like we've never seen in the US.
Do you think it's been affected over there, Frank? Boxing, as a whole, with the stars that are coming through, we don't get the same amount of talent coming through anymore. Look at the Olympics. Look at the success they had there, or lack of success.
My view is there's been, and this is maybe a funny way of saying it, too much money in boxing, right? Where and it's great, fighters deserve to make as much money as possible, and sometimes it's a hard thing to say, but there's been a lot of money in boxing where fighters have been able to get away with having easy fights and getting paid, right? Yeah. Which doesn't, in the long run, grow the sport. It's great for your back pocket for 3 months, 6 months, but it's not growing the sport. It's not. And if you believe in yourself as a fighter that I can go all the way to the top, you take a bit more risk and go, no, do you know what? I'm going to go down this path rather than just get paid a fortune to fight a fight no one's interested in. And the duty's on us as promoters to go, actually, we want to deliver the best possible fight. So I wouldn't disagree that there's been moments in boxing where, it hasn't delivered to what it can do. But I think there's always a comparison, especially in US boxing, to Floyd Mayweather. Yeah. He was a once in a lifetime, thing. Just like AJ.
Yeah.
There might not be another one like AJ, who does what AJ's done, etc. So, but I do think the sport of boxing is thriving. I think the Saudi Arabian, Turkey Al-Sheikh investment into it has been great for the sport, and I think we can continue to grow and build from there.
That's the segue into our next conversation.
There you go.
I'll let you lead the way, or I'll do it if you like. So, you talked about Turkey Al-Sheikh there, Matchroom Sports, not just boxing, and the investment from Turkey, Riyadh season, into Matchroom Sports. Tell us a little bit about that, Frank.
Yeah, look, obviously boxing is my focus, but as a business we do 600 events a year around the world: snooker, darts, boxing, 9-ball pool, some fishing every now and then. And Turkey's made a big investment in Riyadh season into those events, bringing darts for the first time across to Saudi Arabia. Obviously our relationship continues to flourish in boxing, of course. Snooker, we've done multiple events now in snooker, the $1 million prize pool for the golden ball as well, which is a bit different. And you've got to look at these sports and you've got to keep evolving. And the relationship's very good, between us and Turkey Al-Sheikh, Seller, Riyadh season, all of the team. And it's exciting times, for the sports we're involved in.
Is it just a sponsorship relationship for now? Because there's obviously, we've all watched the Netflix thing, and there was talk about him wanting to seriously make a play for Matchroom, and why wouldn't you? Because of all the things that you've just said.
Yeah, look, I think as a commercial entity, we're very successful, not just in boxing, but across all the sports we're involved in. I think they look at it as businesses. You've seen the Saudi investment, not just in sport, but across business. And I do think there's a lot of opportunity there. Nothing more right now. The Netflix documentary did a great bit of saying, talking about it.
Yeah.
We sold part of the business, a small part to pitch, just over 14, 16 months ago now. So we're always looking at opportunity. We don't need it at the same time. We're a big business. Barry has run a tremendous business, so we don't need cash. But if we're always looking to grow as a company, and if that can help us take us to, another level, we want to do that.
Final one.
See a little smile on his
Yeah,
face
he's good.
there.
Yeah,
Oh,
exactly.
mate, I just
He's retiring to the release sometime soon. Is
I
what he's
need
doing.
I need the sunshine somewhere.
Listen, final one. What an amazing coup to get Ben Whitaker on Matchroom. Talk me through the process of finally getting him.
Yeah, look, I think it's publicly known, back in when he turned professional 3 years ago now, we basically agreed a deal with him, didn't sign it, but we filmed a promo. So we had some promotional content of Ben Whitaker that never got used 3 years ago, and we always knew that when he became a free agent, I think we felt we were the right fit for him, right? And I think Ben Whitaker, Eddie together, just take Matchroom even out of it, those two together are an unbeatable pairing, right? And I think Ben is a great character I've got to know over years. He's a lovely guy who's very respectful, but also knows what it takes to get people talking about you. We're in a sport where you want people to have opinions on you, good, bad, whatever. People have got opinions on everyone now. People have got opinions on you, me, you. That's the world we live in. And the reality is, whether you like him, dislike him, you're going to watch him because he's entertaining in everything he does. And we looked at it. It was 10 days ago. It was last Sunday. I got a phone call. We'd been talking, and I got a phone call from his manager, Will Harvey. He said, "Right, we're good to go. We got a contract done between Sunday and Thursday. We filmed a promo on Friday, and we announced on Monday." And we kept it secret for once in our life. Eddie managed not to.
There was
say
the
anything.
wow factor when you dropped it. There was.
And I think when you look at the promos, when you got someone who, he came up with the idea for the Show Me the Money promo, he loves it. And you want to work with people who get that side of it. You can be a great fighter, but you're always going to be limited if you don't have that commercial appeal.
Do you think he could become the biggest commercial star in British boxing?
100%. I honestly think Ben Whitaker can become a global superstar. He has everything. And again, it comes back to he has the personality, he knows what you have to do, you have to play the game, and that's what he does. And I'm just delighted, as a classless human, as Simon Jordan called me, that we got it over the line. I know he's fuming because he must have an investment in Boxer and his head's gone about it and his last few quid must be running out. Simon, I'm very sorry, but this classless bag carrier, we got it done. Your business is going down the drain. Love you lots.
Listen, congratulations.
On that
Thank
note, Frank, cheers, mate.
Looking
Well
forward
done.
to tomorrow night's show. Take care, my man.
Cheers, mate.
What should I say on Saturday? There you go. Frank Smith joining us to talk all things through that's going on currently at Matchroom, and it is flying right now, as we all know. But to circle back to this weekend, we genuinely do have a fantastic show on our hands. Not only do we have, obviously, Dave Allen and Arslanbek Makhmudov going at it, I love the needle between Junaid Boston and Bilal Fawaz. Obviously, they went at it in January, didn't they? We had a controversial draw, let's be honest, and I think on our show at the weekend on Fight Night, which is available for you to go and check out on the talkSPORT Boxing YouTube channel, listen, Junaid was dead open about it. He said, listen, it was close. I've just got to go and show you on Saturday night what I'm all about. And this is a big one for him. This actually feels, speaking of Ben Whitaker, it feels like Ben Whitaker, Liam Cameron.
Yeah.
Whereas
totally
it went wrong for him in the first fight and he's got to go and show up in the second.
Yeah, absolutely. I liked Junaid coming on the show on Saturday and the honesty that was coming out of him. And he said, you know what? Maybe I did underestimate him. Maybe I wasn't living the right life outside of boxing. Maybe it was the kick up the arse that I needed to put me where I am right now. And we will see and we will deliver on Saturday. Really looking forward to that one because Fawaz is a confident character that oozes a bit of class as well. I like him a lot. I love his backstory as well that we'll get into one day for sure. But great fight, that one. Fantastic fight. Could be a fight tonight.
And we've got Josh Padley and Reece Bellotti as well going at it, which should be an absolute cracker. Listen, this is all going down Saturday night, and you can catch it on talkSPORT from 8 o'clock. Make sure you come and join us. Myself and Spence will be joined by the full team there, here in Sheffield. All eyes on Dave Allen and whether he can pull this off against Arslanbek Makhmudov. Of course, it's all about the night, but what could come after could be pretty special in 2026 for either one of these guys. I think if it is Makhmudov, he might be back to fight AJ, but if it's Dave Allen, a showdown with Deontay that's absolutely crazy to even be contemplating. Make sure you come and join us on Saturday night. We'll catch you then.